America being like woke. I'm like,
oh fuck those
Captain
idiots.
America, you fucking
People
idiot.
don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They
Like,
do
what
not
the
know
hell?
what the fuck they're talking about.
And like speaking of that, I'm really excited for that movie. I really hope that like this shuts them up, but I know it won't. They're gonna hate this film regardless.
Yeah.
Just because he's black.
Yeah.
Even though it's in the fucking comics.
And
we're talking about the same idiots who had a problem with Zoe Kravitz playing Catwoman. Fuck, who the fuck cares?
Yeah, that is.
But at the same time, those people will love Miles Morales as Spider-Man, so it's like you can't fucking pick and choose.
Not neurotic. Not that fucking old idiot.
Yeah, not him.
Oh yeah,
not him.
Like,
didn't he say that?
No, I'm not
Miles
saying you.
wasn't Spider-Man.
He said, and I quote, Miles Morales is Miles Morales. And I'm just like, you're fucking dumb, number one.
Yeah.
Right.
Number two, Miles Morales is Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
That's what I
But
said.
they don't have that same argument when it comes to Miguel O'Hara. I never understand
because they're fucking stupid. They're ignorant fucking rednecks on the internet. They're fucking dumb.
And I'll be like, I've questioned them. I said, so you don't have a problem with you don't have a problem with Miguel. You don't have a problem with Isaiah Bradley. There are plenty of black Captain Americas that you don't have a problem with.
There's another conversation that needs to be had here also because as we're kind of switching to this
Chainsaw, we didn't hear you, but I hope you're okay.
Yeah, we couldn't hear you.
You were like frozen, but yeah, I hope you're okay.
Yeah. Like as we're switching to when people want to stop focusing on race, in terms of these characters and stuff, I'm gonna give it I'm gonna give it probably maybe 2 years or so, not 5, 2, for actually see these, ideologies and mindset, let them flourish and sink in and see the actual fruit of their labor to see if the very thing they've been championing for, and once they get it, be like, oh wait, now it's becoming the opposite, where everything, the progress we fought for in terms of having representation, now you made it about race, but yeah, you just put a different color on screen that you prefer, not the fact having color should not be the issue. If it was, we wouldn't be talking. But the problem is that as we're seeing the next couple of projects coming this year, this Wonder Man, Ironheart, there's a lot of things that's coming up, and especially with the whole
has another one.
Eyes of Wakanda, like all these things here.
Wonder
We have to have these conversations to bring up, but. Hey, listen, I'm just like, when we there and we actually stay our arguments and stuff when, if the product is good or not, and then people like, no, here's why it's wrong because then racially XYZ, we're just going to see what type of excuse they're going to pull out their ass. But, I mean, it is what it is, though. We'll see. It's going to be interesting.
The Wonder Man one pisses me off because nobody knows anything about Wonder Man. It don't matter if he black or white, no nothing. Shut up, people. Like, y'all ain't know who this was. Y'all looked it up and was like, oh, he's supposed to be white.
But still, recast T'Challa, by the way. Anyway.
Well, they talking about it now.
I haven't been a fan of I haven't been a fan of Simon for years, but that's a different conversation.
Yeah, like
but at the end of the day,
I know.
Don't even
fuck
matter.
all about that character. I love
you have to be really nerdy to know.
Yeah, he's a really great actor.
Right, I love that actor. I'm just not the biggest fan of that character.
Yeah. He's probably gonna make it better.
That's probably the only white character Jake doesn't care about.
Oh no, there's plenty. And we can make a whole damn list if you really want to go on that long.
Oh, let me get
let's hear it. Let's hear it.
I said first up.
Well, I mean, I think this also another conversation about race swapping characters because, like, listen, we got in a couple of weeks, whatever, the Norman Spider-Man, like Norman Osborn,
Norman and
I know other content creators that some of us actually know that are very adamant about against race swapping characters. For me, I'm kind of like in the middle.
God forbid we don't want someone of Coleman Domingo's caliber in the MCU or in an MCU project. God forbid we don't want him in the MCU. Like, I remember being like, yo,
and it's not even the MCU canon Spider-Man. It's
let me
like a
put it to you
different,
this way.
like,
exactly.
multiverse thing. Like, what the fuck?
Let me put it to you this way. If Robert Downey Jr. can play Iron Man in the main 616 timeline and then fucking Doctor Doom another timeline, who's to say Coleman Domingo can't play Norman Osborn in this animated show and then someone else in the mainline MCU? It's like, what the fuck are we getting mad about here? Look, I understand getting mad about fucking certain characters being race swapped. There are absolutely certain characters you just do not race swap. Prime example, no one needs a White Panther because that's just fucking dumb and racist.
Yep.
Yeah.
Period, bar none, end of conversation. But when it comes to a character like fucking Norman Osborn, Harry Osborn, I'm sorry, how many versions of these characters has been fucking white? How many versions of these characters have had curly red hair, and it doesn't fucking matter. When it comes to these characters and how many times they've been done in animation, live action, whatever, who the fuck cares? It's an animated show. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying this to Mike. I know Mike isn't mad about this shit. It's just like to see people get visibly frustrated over fictional fucking characters. It's just like, shut up.
It's fake.
Shut up.
You also see him in a mask more often than not. So why the fuck does it matter?
Exactly. And my whole thing is, when the character's race does not matter, why do we care?
Do whatever you want.
Who cares if Norman Osborn is white and or black?
Well, I play devil advocate here because the argument that's presented is that by race swapping a white character being black, basically you take an opportunity where an actual black character in the comics does not get represented at all. So, like, for example,
wait, hold on. Can you say that again?
I'm gonna repeat that and I'm gonna say it slowly. The fact that you're racing white characters and they always use us 9 times out of 10 as black people to race swap, and by them saying, well, let's add more diversity. Well, we can make Mary Jane black, we can make some other characters black, whatever. We can make Electro black, whatever. But by doing that, by representing black people, trying to represent black people, you end up not representing any black characters, because what end up happening is you end up checking a box like, well, we already have a black character. We may have Mary Jane, we have Electro, who are not black characters. And yet here we have characters like Static Shock, John Stewart, which took 20 years now, but now we're getting them. But like other characters have been waiting to get on screen, but they can't because there's already other black characters on screen in the lens of the studio. I'm not talking about like us and people common sense. From studio, it's to check a box. I'm just playing devil's advocate. That's the argument people bring up.
Because that's really all they care about is just checking a box, just having it there for the sake of having it. It's like, all right, did we include A, B, C, and D? Okay, we're good.
I mean, that's fair, but like people are my whole thing is like people are mad because Flash Thompson in this universe is black. But where was the outrage when Flash Thompson was a 5'0" whatever he is in the mainline MCU?
People didn't really care about him to begin with, so it's like,
why are they mad now? Why are they mad now?
Skin is not even close to the biggest.
Joe Manganiello. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think Joe Manganiello is like straight up white.
Exactly.
No, he's not. He's
the most comic accurate Flash Thompson that we had was the one in the Amazing
Spider-Man.
Yeah, Chris Silka.
Yep. I remember all the rumors saying that guy was going to become Agent Venom eventually. It would have been interesting to see how that turned out.
Yeah, but my thing is like this whole. I suck at reiterating what Mike said, but where was this when Michael Clark Duncan was cast as Kingpin back in 2003?
Yeah,
right.
Did it matter then? It's only a thing now because, well, look at the generation that we're in. Look at who gets mad at what, you know. And look, I'm not diminishing anything Mike said. I think Mike has. I think there's a point there, but I also think that like you can have it both ways. It's just a matter of like, you know, whatever way they want to verbiage it or whatever way they want to word it when a press release comes out of, oh, so and so is taking on this character.
I'll go back even further. You know, like where was the outcry when you had Billy D. Williams as Harvey Dent in the 80s?
Yeah, I'll say this. I remember. Go ahead, Mike.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I remember when the Batman was coming to fruition. They were saying this is who's right now lined up for Catwoman. It was like Ana de Armas, Zoe Kravitz, and I forget somebody else. Might have been Isaac Gonzalez. And I remember from my angle, I was like, you know what? It'd be nice to see Isa or Ana in the Catwoman role. To be like, all right, it's my Latina girls there. They're doing their thing or not. They didn't get it. They got Zoe Kravitz, and I was like, you know what? I'm not even mad about it. And then those first photos came out, and I was just like, going, yo, man. And then we see that movie and the new layers that she got into Selena. And it's just like, I can't, to me, you know, something's good with casting when an offshoot show teases the character. And I'm like, I want to see her, but I know she's canon and I know she has a presence in this offshoot show. And I'm like, I can't wait to see her again. And it's just like, it's sad. And like, even the whole thing of Miles Morales and Miguel O'Hara, I'm like,
well,
my name's Miguel.
And the equally fucked up thing is like the people that were giving Zoe Kravitz shit for that, saying that she wasn't the right pigments or whatever. Jeffrey Wright was cast as Gordon in that same movie, and no one said a fucking thing.
No one said nothing.
Yeah.
No
one
one
said shit.
complained. No one
said
complained.
shit.
Well, here's the thing. Also, when you have this is the thing, the argument, the saving grace of this is that the problem that you continually race swapping characters, and specifically it's become a stereotype at this point of most of the time white ginger characters get turned black, and then you actually make racists seem right because they have statistics to back all that up and actual examples of showing the consistent race swap what these studios are doing. And what people are saying, for who actually, especially coming from people of color who are against race swapping, they want the racists to look like idiots that they are by not giving them any statistics, by not giving them any examples of saying, well, here's a character who's been race swapped and who was originally white and made black, but yet here you have all these other characters, again, Blue Marvel, now all these other characters that are just kind of sitting here waiting for decades that probably won't have a chance to get on screen because the studio will think want to check a box like, because they view all black people as black people. We're like, oh yeah, we can just make this person here and see, we got the checkoff box, we're good. And unfortunately, they're not giving you real long-term representation, even in comics. Because, for example, if you look at Wonder Man in the comics, we have the show coming out. Is he white in the comics now? Yes.
And what's weird is that, like,
Mary Jane. Is she Mary Jane? Zendaya been Mary Jane for what? How many years since 2017?
16. Yeah,
okay.
17.
Is Mary Jane black in the comics? No.
Yes. Oh.
No. So
And
that's what I'm saying. So it's temporary representation, not actual representation.
Yeah.
But
And
wait. To counter that, you say it the way that DC handled the whole Wally West thing was terrible.
Yeah, stupid. It was
because-
absolutely stupid.
because
and
Wally
it proves
in
my
the-
point.
Because Wally in the comics was a white redhead for years. When we get to the New 52, he's this random black kid. So when you get to the Flash TV show, they make all the West black to try to make it fit and make sense for the show, but also cater to those new comic book readers at the time. Then boom, during the show's run, that's when they reintroduced the fact that no, it's not just one Wally West, it's two of them, and this is 2 years after the show starts. So then you have all the people. That's when the people started coming out talking about it should have been white Wally West, yada yada yada. Why are the West black? When are we gonna get redhead Wally West on the show? And then you have the showrunner saying, well, we can't because in this universe, in this multiverse, all the Wests are black. All the Wests will always be black. That was a huge talking point when the Flash was on for years. And then they were mad when Bart Allen was cast as a mixed race character. They were mad when XS was cast as a mixed race character because of the whole West bloodline and lineage. That led to a whole bunch of crazy stuff. So I completely get like.
But I want to show to that point though. I want to show you something. I'm gonna share my screen here if I can. Even in comics though, you want to talk about legitimate racism? I want you to look at this picture right here.
Oh boy, I think I have an idea.
I want you to look at this picture here.
I have a shrewd idea too.
Who's in the back of the bus?
I mean, but to be fair, he is the slowest Flash.
Oh yeah, right, the black one. I'm saying, listen, I'm only pushing this conversation to bring discussion and topics, not to actually say that I'm actually against this topic at all. But I'm saying I've been in conversations with people, and they brought legitimate concerns to this. But there's balance to this. But to this,
Captain Marvel doing there?
Yeah, he's faster. Listen, Captain Marvel is faster than Wallace West.
It is, and Godspeed is also Indian, so that's also weird.
I don't think August Hart is faster.
And also, I like to remind folks that get up in arms about this stuff, regardless of there's validity or not, is that a lot of these characters were created in an age where that really wasn't taken into consideration of actually reflecting how the world looked, which is why, and I still almost get I almost laugh out of silliness of when people get up in arms about the X-Men. It's no, you have no idea. X-Men was one of those few rare things that it dared to push even further the possibility. You know what? let's make these comics look like the actual world where there's more than one color, there's more than one race.
Yeah.
And that's why the
I
John
mean, hell,
Stewarts
They were
of the
made as a
world-
metaphor for racial tensions at the time.
Well, when Wally was even created, he was a kid with black hair.
yeah.
True.
He
And
had
how
black
much-
hair
yeah.
when he was
But-
first debuted, I
There's
think in the late 50s,
Yeah.
early 60s.
Yeah, the late
something like that.
50s, right?
And
I
then,
know exactly what you're talking
Yeah.
about, Phil.
And then, like when you
Yeah.
had Jason Todd's debut, hell, he was
He was a
blonde.
redhead.
Redhead. He
No,
dyed his
no,
hair-
no, no,
he was
no, no, no.
blonde,
I'm
blonde,
wrong.
blonde.
No, actually, no. When
No?
they debuted Jason in '83,
Yeah.
he had black hair, and then right after Crisis, they retconned it to where
That's
he
right,
was a
that's right.
redhead and dyed his hair black
Yeah.
to make him look
to
like
look
Dick.
Robin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I also
And-
mention, like, I think you definitely have a point, Mike. I think that's a very valid criticism. I think the only reason I'm somewhat hesitant on that, because I do think so many people use that argument almost as an excuse on like why we shouldn't get representation, right? Where it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're race swap. I can't believe this and this. But then when we actually get like original black characters, like your Sam Wilson, like your Miles Morales, like your Ryan Wilder, they're also in that same boat. Like, why is it gone woke? Why do we have to have all these characters? Like, no, you asked
can't
for
win.
more original characters. So now when we get it, you can't also call that woke. Like you can't have both things at the same time, and
Well,
that's
yes.
frustrating to me.
Well,
that's-
it's also that too, is because you also have a balance also in their abilities, not just in their race. Because here's also this too. That fact that and this also comes from what characters like female characters or even LGBT characters, whatever.
Mhm.
The fact that the only to make a character interesting, I have to give them every freaking power known in the known universe to make them interesting, which is what Miles Morales, unfortunately, is having an issue right now in the comics. Is that and I'm telling you, even black, I'm like, this conversational black folks, you're like, I'm not liking how Miles Morales is being written in comics right now because he's a great, interesting character, but you keep giving him every new ability left and right and give him like, oh, now he has this totem. Now he got this other venom blast. Now he's a vampire. Now he's all this stuff. And yet you only do this to characters of color to make them, oh, well, look, we have characters of color who's the most powerful beings in the known universe. I'm like, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
But I agree to an extent, because even before they started doing all of this stuff with Miles, his writing, his characterization was leagues better than anything that they were doing with Peter Parker at the time. His writing has always been 10 times better than Peter Parker, especially
Asterisk.
since
I'm gonna
Yeah.
stop you right
Yeah,
there.
I
Asterisk.
disagree.
It was great when Brian Michael Bendis was writing Miles.
When Bendis took over after 160, that was great Miles writing.
Well, Bendis made the character with Sarah Pichelli.
Right.
Like
In the Ultimates,
created,
yeah.
exactly.
Ultimate,
Like
yeah.
Miles Morales originated from Ultimate Comics. Ultimate Fallout #4 is when he first debuted. They
Yeah.
killed Peter and they gave Miles the new mantle. He puts on like a literal Halloween costume of Spider-Man, and then eventually gets his black and red suit from none other than Nick fucking Fury.
Fury, yeah.
Which is an amazing story. And Brian Michael Bendis and Sarah Pichelli handed that book for how many volumes did they do? They did a fair few, and then that's when things kind of. I think after he did Ultimates, I think Bendis was the one who did Spider-Men, where he had 616 Peter meet Ultimate Miles, and that's where that whole Spider-Man story stems from. And then after that is where my knowledge of it just goes off a
You're
cliff.
correct, yeah.
And I told
you just
folks,
made me
like,
realize I can't find my book.
When it comes
And
to
I-
that Miles writing, I think that is rivaled, not necessarily as if you're trying to compare the two, but since Bendis did that original Ultimate Peter Parker run in the early 2000s, that writing quality continued into Miles Morales, I think. So you made two really compelling characters on the pages, and not as if you had two that were trying to compare for page time or likability.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the balance, even what I'm talking about with this, is I'm expressing there's an issue in terms of conversation amongst black people, because we've seen non-black people having conversation with black characters, and it's a back and forth here. Like, for example, we just experienced was it about a month or two ago when Aaron Pierre got cast as Green Lantern, right?
Yeah.
And everybody had an
Yeah.
issue with the fact that he was light skinned. And I said this, and I got flack for this, is that, and this is from our own people, for everybody that have an issue with Aaron Pierre being quote unquote light skinned, Jon Stewart, but yet you champion and praise to heavens, hallelujah, praise Jesus that Halle Bailey got cast as Little Mermaid and Ariel. You have no say to say this. Say that you have an issue.
They are racially
light skinned cyborg.
Well, either way, I thought that was a better written Skyborg anyway. But that's a separate conversation. But I'm just saying, the lightest skinned Cyborg had one of the best writers of character we had in recent years. But anyway, I'm just saying.
Well, the short Cyborg was actually the better written one, but
yeah, I enjoyed
you guys talking about.
You talking about
Joe and Snyder Cut.
Yeah, Ray Fisher, I thought was great.
Well, I like both, but I kind of lean towards Ray Fisher.
I'm saying, but people didn't complain when Ray Fisher was light skinned.
That's true. Okay, that's true.
They didn't have this complaint.
No, they didn't.
Yes.
And I tell people this also, that like a lot of these characters, you don't have to worry about. They're gonna be making movies and shows to the end of times. The first thing that came to mind when we talked about this combo was like, I remember how when Cape Crusader came out, and how Barbara and Jim were black, and people there was like, what the fuck? And it's just like, and it's in the 40s, and it's just like, guys, they're gonna make Batman stuff till after I'm dead. You're good. Like this is not the only be all end all Batman and Spider-Man project.
Miguel, but here's the thing. Even in the review, what Lucas was talking about, like, yeah, you have niggas in the 40s. That's not right. As police officer, that's what
really.
That's what they were saying.
What about Watchmen? What about Watchmen?
Watchmen was
what about Watchmen?
But here's the thing.
Listen. He didn't like Watchmen either. He called it. Listen, anyway, I'm just saying there's people who've had issues with this. I'm talking about us as black people had issues with Watchmen, and like the fact that you have black people.
I can't speak to that then because I'm obviously.
But right, but that's what I'm saying. This is conversations that that people are not witness to. Right, which is okay to let's have a talk about it, because it ain't just black and white here. There's nuance to it, because studios think, all black people are just black people. Like, okay, well, let's say you get to characters like Rocket or Icon or Milestone characters, whatever. When you talk about different designs and hair texture and haircuts, like for example, when we actually get on screen, all of a sudden our presence becomes bastardized. What I mean by that? Well, after Black Panther, the huge success and everything, what happened after every freaking animated male character you see? What haircut he had? He had the Killmonger haircut. And everyone acting like, oh, look, I'm so brave. Look, we are showing this representation of hair diversity after the 20 ones that came before him.
Even Darren tried to have that haircut at one point.
See, I'm making points, y'all.
Like, the one thing I loved about Killmonger was his Vegeta outfit. That shit was dope.
I remember people were like, "Yo, Vegeta shit."
That shit was dope, yo.
That was dope as fuck.
And the fact that like Michael is an anime fan,
that's cool.
It was bussing all night. It was bussing all over, everywhere. It was
just like you, Lance.
It just had to be Lance, bro.
Just like you, Lance.
Or like, his line delivery of, I walked in my house, my daddy's got fucking Panther claws out of his chest. Like, oh fuck, he means business.
Yeah, you felt that.
But all I'm gonna say is, M'Baku still had the best line in the whole Black Panther franchise.
You bald-headed demon.
Bald-headed demon.
Yeah.
Challenge day.
Yeah.
The fact that I knew exactly what you were saying. He said, you
bald-headed demon.
Bald-headed demon.
Why he was eating a carrot and shit. Like,
this is going to sound like so perverse to what we were talking about just now. I wish we could have seen him don the man-ape suit. I just wish we could have seen that.